Coming at you live from DNHQ2 in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. And we do that button. We'll throw that in there because we are powered by the Overtime Podcast Network. What is up, Dodgers Nation? I am Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. This fella to my left is not who I just said.
I knew you were going to say that. I think we've been together too long.
Whoa.
If you know what I mean. My name is Brook. You can find me at BrookMe3 on Instagram and Twitter. And we have a lot to talk about today, don't we?
This is a heavy show, gang. We already see you guys coming up in the stream. What's going on? Richard, we got a hello from Richard, first guy. Your mama, 21. What's going on, your mama? Hey, fellas,
my
all
mom's
the way.
On?
Our mama from New Zealand. What's going on? Janae in the stream from Facebook. What's going on, Janae? Brian Hatfield, friend of the stream, friend of the show. How about the last two Kenta starts, 2 in a row, and KJ having a decent but not without some, we'll say, cyber ink spilled about him. Yeah. Kenley did some stuff, but we got Zed James in the stream. What's going on, Zed? How you doing, buddy?
Mr. Preciado's in the stream as well.
Preciado. We got Aegon in the stream. No game, but like Adrian Gonzalez says here on YouTube, sucks. No game today, but at least it's time for another Blue Heaven podcast. That's right. So we're going to talk about all these things that you guys are talking about. I see Ray. What up, my dog? What's going on, Ray? On today's show, Kenley's communication breakdown. Dodgers seem to have some struggles against former Dodgers, funny enough. Of course, we have to touch on the Julio Urias situation, and we're going to bring in our resident Julio expert, Tim Rogers, SD Dodger Tim. We're going to introduce the new Dodgers Nation post-game show host, the voice you guys can yell at after most games, however many games we decide to do early on. Of course, we can't not do a week without a tweet of the week, because this is a good week for some tweets. But first, we have to shout out properly. You guys see that bug in the upper right-hand corner. Sportscaster is lovely, and they're our partner this season. Sportscaster, you could be the star of your own show with built-in studio graphics and access to special events. You can look like a pro and sound like a pro. You could even look like Brooke. So if you live stream and game, be your own broadcaster, you know. Visit Sportscaster, that is sportscastr.com today. But, of course, after this stream, we want you guys all up in here first.
Yeah, stay in the stream, guys. Don't go anywhere. I know some of you are probably watching the Trailblazers game at the moment. We call it the Trailblazers game. We don't call it the Golden State game.
Yeah,
whoever they're playing.
We're fair like that.
Don't forget, guys, we have a comment section for a reason. We would love you guys to engage on that. Ask us questions. Drop in your city, area code, state. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know where you're representing Dodgers Nation, and also let us know what you're drinking if you're drinking. What are you drinking today?
I'm drinking Sailor with a little bit of Diet Cola, because that's what we had in the fridge.
Sailor and Diet Cola. Mm-hmm. That sounds
just
disgusting,
like Mom used to make.
You know,
so
that's fine.
So we're doing well as a team. 29 wins, second best winning percentage as of this morning in MLB, but things aren't quite all right in Dodgers Nation. Tell us what's going on, Mr.
Things
Me3.
are not. I don't know how you guys received the Julio news. I was on my way to work when I heard it on the radio, and it changed my entire week.
What's radio?
Yeah, I know you're not probably familiar with radio.
It's
it
not.
Wasn't even like a sports radio station. It was like 95.5. So the fact that it even made it there was a big deal, because they don't really talk sports at all.
Yeah, Frank Kramer's sports thing.
Split. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure what it did to your guys' week. It was really bad for my that whole day. I was just very thrown off and not very involved in my work, and it was hard for me. I actually wrote the initial article from DodgersNation.com, which you can go check out, because we have stuff on there every single day with news, editorials, opinions, polls,
and we prettied up the site
else
for you guys. Go check it out, DodgersNation.com. It looks super pretty.
It's really nice, isn't it?
It is very gorgeous
nice.
website. I'm proud.
Shout out to our web team for that, because that looks phenomenal. Proud of you guys.
Because he was brought back. Oh, wait. Oh, spoiler alerts. Sorry.
Good call. There you go.
After the fact.
There you go.
Yeah, it ruined. It was definitely. And obviously we're being somewhat greedy about this. Saying that it ruined our day.
Right.
But that was the first thing I woke up. I see that. I got text about it, and I was like, my first thing is just.
I have
no choice.
I had several people throughout the day ask me what was wrong, and it was all I could really think about. You have this promising young guy on your team, and anytime. You want to do whatever you can to protect your young players, because when guys like that, specifically guys who are from different countries where they didn't necessarily grow up with a lot of opportunities and chances or money, it's hard when you're suddenly thrust into the spotlight of literally millions and millions of people. And so everything you do is now under a microscope. And so when you have these star players like that, you really are worried about them, and you're worried about what they're going to, how people are going to view them, what they're going to say about them. And it really puts a target on their back. And so when this came out about Julio, it was really disappointing for me because, as it was for you, I'm sure, but this is a guy who we have so much respect for, and a guy who we were so excited about his future. And, we'll get more into that in a minute.
You respect the man as a player because what he brings to your team. But however, let's not leave him on hold much longer.
Yeah, because this is the guy who it really disappointed. We want to make sure he gets a chance to talk about it.
Resident Julio expert. He's even gone as far as covering his rehab outings. Mr. Tim Rogers. What I call him, Timberly. SD Dodger Tim joining us on the phone. What's going on, Tim?
Hey, guys.
So definitely not a good. I see somebody get to the topic already. Sorry, we have to set it up. We have to be careful with this. We're not in a state. We don't want to. We're not going to be opinions on this. That's not what this is about. We just have to be. This is where we were at. This is how it happened. But really, it's delivering the news as best we can over drinks. But Tim, tell us a little bit about just your feeling. What happened that particular morning? When you happen upon the story.
Yeah, literally, I was just walking out the door, going out for a walk, trying to get in some better shape, and I get the pop up about it, or maybe it was on Twitter. So I just saw it. I was, like many of us, looking at Twitter too much. Saw the news and just about collapsed. People who know about me. I mean, the guy is almost like a kid to me. It's just kind of weird. We went to see his debut. I did have a chance to, hang with him and interview him during one of his rehab starts. And, it was shocking because of, the nature that I saw. At the same time, you just go, gosh, you got to think about the victim or right. Alleged, and again, not making any judgments. We got to wait till it all comes out. We've been playing a lot of what ifs lately. I did it myself.
Yeah.
But just looking at it going, hey, this is a player that we all like, but what standard are we going to have if things go wrong, if things were bad?
So
are we going to be better than the Astros were? Better than the Cubs?
Yeah.
Better than the Yankees?
Right.
Yeah, I saw Jonathan over here in Facebook saying, wait until all the facts are in before you play judge. Obviously, nobody that we know is in the position to play judge. MLB is first judge up. And you have to let this run its course before we do anything. The Dodgers are treating this 100% the right way. You address the question and you say we have no further comment. The fact that the media has respected that for the most part, they didn't go up to Kershaw after his start against San Diego and be like, "Hey, what do you think about your team?" or anything like that, or your teammate. That's at least positive. We haven't seen a lot of that, but of course the story is still developing. TMZ had the update today, and the fact that we're reporting anything from TMZ, I'm always going to feel dirty a little bit on the inside.
It feels a little strange. And before we kind of dive into that, guys, we just want to point out that we're presenting the facts as they come out. We're presenting the stories as they come out to you guys. It's our responsibility to make sure that whatever is out there, you guys know what's out there. And so while us putting this on our website and bringing this to you is not necessarily our own opinions or our own views of things. It is what's out there, and we want to make sure that both sides of the argument are presented, both sides of everything are presented. Obviously, you want to make sure that your team is well represented, and you don't want to have people on your team that obviously, we have gone, specifically as a fan base, we've gone through the Cubs and the Astros in particular, who it's been rough for us to see those guys playing on their teams, and there's been calls consistently for Dodger fans in particular to say those guys shouldn't be on the team. They shouldn't be in baseball. And for the most part, I don't think they're good for the sport. I don't think they're good for the game. But, honestly, one of the most interesting takes that I saw on this thing all week, because believe me, everything that you guys had to say, I made sure to monitor. I made sure to see it. And Tim, maybe you saw it too, but Frank Lopez, that's at Baseball Frank, one of the two Franks, both good guys and usually pretty level-headed guys. He had a take that basically said, the reason why you guys are different about this right now is realistically, that's our boy.
It's your own team.
And he's like, if you're gonna pretend, if you're gonna pretend otherwise, like this is a different situation, he's like, then you're just lying to yourself. You're kidding yourself. And he's like, and there's not necessarily anything wrong with defending your guy. Like you're there for your guy, But at the end of the day, the facts are the facts, and you have to go with the facts.
On a day that was obviously just everybody was going to be, Twitter was a cesspool of every sort of opinion every way. That's what we want to do. It's the internet is all about reactions and judgment. That's just how things go. Unfortunately, when we have everybody at our fingertips, you want people to know your opinion. Tim, you actually have spoken with the guy at least a little bit. What's your opinion, even if it's a little bit, just your taste of his character?
He lives a life of, it seems like, of determination and gratefulness. I don't know if you guys have heard, he says, "Hey, God gave me the bad eye, but he gave me a great arm."
Yeah.
And just, when I interviewed, he was going through his rehab and things like that, with that. And he was just so grateful to be pitching again. And, so again, it was one of those, wow, this guy.
Yeah,
exactly. But again, totally withholding judgment. I think that, a lot of people come from different backgrounds. There are people that have dealt with domestic violence, and their reactions might be different than people that haven't.
Absolutely.
And and those opinions that are out there, to me, it doesn't bother me. Let's see them. Let people vent. They're hurt. I mean, it is kind of, I think the way you described it, Brooke, it was hurtful, to see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we're all kind of injured from that. And I'm being a little psychology here, but there is that feeling about that. And, we do, I think we want to be consistent with how we are. And I think that was one of the first things that I wanted to go. I was like, this is my boy. Mm-hmm. However, I want to be consistent. And what you brought up that MLB will be the judge. There's actually 3 judges that, 3 different groups are going to see this. There's justice, the justice and police, law enforcement. There's MLB, and then there's the Dodgers.
Right.
So, all 3 of those are going to have a good look at it. And I'm hopeful that, I'm going to, whatever they say, they're going to see the videotape and all that crap about TMZ. The facts are, we know he was arrested, and there's videotape, and that's all we know.
Right. The tape.
And everything else is from TMZ, and it's trash.
Right. Yeah. The tape that we still haven't gotten a chance to see.
And TMZ gets paid to be clickbait. That's what they do.
Exactly. And a lot of people.
Clickbait.
Yeah. A lot of people
make me look clean.
Right. I think the problem I had personally, and this is because of my background and where I come from, is the people immediately jump to, I need to see the tape first in the beginning. In the beginning, they made it sound really bad. The initial report was like, oh crap, like this is really bad. And for people to be like, I need to see the tape. And it's like, okay, well, maybe don't jump to that right away. Maybe be like, all right, well, this needs to be handled appropriately. They need to take the proper steps and the proper actions, not I need to see the tape. But now we're at a point where
we're not the people to see the tape. We are not the judges at this point in time.
Now with this second part coming out, where it's like, the second part being, if you guys aren't familiar with it, that there was no criminal intent to harm the person that he was allegedly with. There's still not a bunch of clarity on who she was. From what it sounds like it was a girlfriend, but that's all hearsay and obviously reactionary. But to go to that and say that, it sounds like he grabbed onto her in an argument where she was walking away from him during the middle of an argument, from what it sounds like, based off of the second report, it gets a little murkier and it gets a little harder to kind of jump from, absolutely that's not, he's in the wrong spot versus, okay, now I don't know. Like I literally don't know what he did. I don't know what happened. And now I don't have an opinion because I can't, other than domestic violence is bad. You shouldn't touch women. You shouldn't hit women. And also, wait, what did he do though? Like it's being reported as like several different things, because in the beginning it was like there were several witnesses with video and it was very clear that he had basically struck her. And it was like, okay, well that's obviously bad. So I think with the conflicting reports and, obviously, Tim, you said it, I think you said it best. It's like the different background you come from is going to influence how you see this. And so I might see it differently from how somebody else might see it just based off of our backgrounds. And you could see it in the Facebook comments, guys. You can see it in all the comments from our section right now. Some people are very passionate about it. And we
ran a poll on DN Twitter, and people, it was, again, we're not going to say it's fair. It's not good. It's not bad. But these are just plainly the results of what it was. And overwhelmingly, people are, I don't know if it's right to say level-headed, but it's only fair to everybody involved that all the information be brought forth before any sort of judgment is cast out by people like us.
Right.
At the end of the day, we hope We hope the best for the situation. At any rate, it seems that something still did happen. There was a physical altercation, and that, basing on the level of it, that's where judgment is cast from there, and that's where, not judgment, more so punishment and all that. If it's bad, if he was, what it came out today, like you were saying, no intent to injure, and that's a loose way of saying it. But if this dude, I love Julio as a player, I don't know him as a person, but if this is real, I can't have somebody like this on my team, even if he is, a future phenom. We've been talking about this kid, Tim, you've been there. We've been talking about this kid now for 4 years.
More for me, man.
The teenager came up at age 19, in hostile territory, has gone through so much, like you're saying, determined, perseverance, and all that. He's, by any measure of it, you haven't heard anything poor about him at any point in time. That's not to say that something bad happens, behind closed doors, whatever it may be. We're not here to even throw that out. I'm just saying, everything that we see about the kid up to the day leading, or before that, it's all he wants to do is work and go pitch. That's all he wants to do. And like I said, with that poll, at least we're saying that it's a neutral thing to at least want to wait for actual people who've seen that, people who understand what's going on, to want to give us more information than us just saying, oh yeah, get rid of him right away, or wait for this, or he's a bad person, whatever it may be. I'm not that guy. I don't get paid to judge.
No, you don't.
I get paid to wear the shirt.
We barely get paid to talk. I think that's our main job, is to talk, and that's what we're doing, guys, and that's what we're doing here. So Tim, you're going to be on this, I think, more closely than probably any of us on the team are going to be on it, and I'm sure you're going to be watching this very closely because, like you said, that is your boy. That is the guy that you have gotten a good chance to watch grow right before your eyes, and you've had more inside analysis on his game more than any of us, and so I'm sure you're going to be watching this situation pretty closely.
Yeah, and for me to just straight up, justice, whatever that means, whether it's guilt or innocence or whatever, justice first, for the woman and for Julio.
Right.
Yep.
Good or bad, it needs to happen. That's all. And as we wait for that, that's all. And we let then we can start forming our judgments and opinions after all that stuff. But
be fair to everybody involved.
Give it due process, let it work itself out, and then from there we'll make our decisions. Because right now our decisions don't mean anything.
It's a lot of emotion.
Yeah, at the very least, we have baseball games to watch to take our minds off of just an unsavory topic, as I called it for our show today. But this is what we got. Tina over here on Facebook. We'll get a couple comments, but we got to be very smart about the comments as well. But this is how someone's life can be ruined. They need to wait until the facts come out, and that's both ways, honestly, too. Because if somebody, obviously the story is that the woman wasn't pressing charges, but there was so much for, by witnesses and all that they had to arrest him. If it comes out where it was blown up, now the woman's in a bad situation. She's in a bad light. If it was what happened, what allegedly happened, has happened, now Julio that's going to be following him for most of, if not all of his career.
And to kind of break up a little bit of humor inserted in this, because I think you need a little humor at a time like this. Obviously, there's appropriate humor and there's very inappropriate humor, guys. And I've seen a lot of very inappropriate humor, which disappointing a little bit.
It happens.
It does happen, though.
It's the future. It's the internet.
I didn't see where the comment went. I lost it. But somebody had said that TMZ is about as credible as Chunk from the Goonies. So I like that. I appreciate that.
I'll give that one a point.
That's something definitely to keep in mind. Is TMZ is a very has operated as a very clickbait type of website media outlet for a long time, and that's their style, and that's people know that of them. That's no surprise, and so they're not pulling any shots on that one by any means, because that's what they do. That is their source. So keep that in mind with all this. There's a lot to keep in mind with all this. We don't want to talk about it too much longer because we do have some great baseball to get to.
Yeah, we want to get to the point where we're going to talk about positive things. So, Tim, we'll let you get in one positive note. Like, how exciting? What has this really the Dodgers homestand been? 7-2 homestand. You really can't write up a better homestand with the way everything went.
So it's really cool to be down in San Diego when the Dodgers do that little mini sweep. Little extra gear. I just wear, usually I wear a polo to work. Today was the Kershaw jersey, just for fun.
There you go.
Just
punches.
to bring that in. So it was, to be honest, that game on Tuesday night that they won after the whole thing. That was such a nice thing.
Oh yeah, especially with all the hype around Paddock.
Yeah.
The greatest pitcher, the revelation pitcher to save all of our lives, Chris Paddock.
That's what he gets for wearing the cowboy hat and the dark glasses.
That dude is a bag.
That boy's a cringe. Goodness gracious.
So the team can handle this, whatever it is. They're gonna handle it, and they're professionals, and they're good group of dudes. It seems like.
Yeah, obviously, Tim. If anybody here knows about the ability of this team to fill anybody's position. You would know. You're the guy. We got Dustin May. We have people like the T-shirt man, cat shirt man himself, Gonsolin. I mean, there's so many of the great names down there. So, I feel confident for this baseball team. Plus, in about 2-3 weeks, Kimbrel doesn't cost a draft pick anymore.
Amen.
That's all that matters.
Now you can go talk about Kenley and all that stuff.
No, we're gonna get to Kenley later in the show because we got to get some nice stuff in for a little bit. But Tim, thank you for taking some time out with us, and of course, guys, that's SD Dodger Tim. All of us here in Dodgers Nation are out there on Twitter. We're willing and ready to engage in some conversation, but not troll stuff. We're not here to cast judgment. We're here to deliver news and talk baseball as best we can. And Raphael perfectly said, Paddock sucked, overhyped. I like it. That's how we're segueing out of this. But thank you, Tim, and we'll talk to you soon.
All
right, Tim.
So on to some of the good, of which, like I said, there was a lot of the good in this last week. Great homestand. Ryu named Player of the Week. I think, Gary, didn't you get both of the Ryu starts? So Mr. Gary Lee is the key cog. He's the key cog for Hyunjin.
I think we figured it out. It's like the Asian band members coming over to watch the fellow Asian countrymen's start, and they pitch very well because Maeda had
BTS? No. You said Maeda.
Ryu had the BTS. I forget his name. I'm so sorry.
T's hip with these things, aren't you? She is not hip with these.
So
things.
I'm really sorry because those. I mean, the K-pop freaking Twitter is wild, man. Like they are way more passionate than baseball Twitter. Let me tell you that. But I think that's been the key. Like that's been the key to their revival. It's really funny to kind of see Ryu and Maeda just come to life over the past 2 weeks, and this week in particular. Yeah. I mean, Ryu had 17 innings pitched, gave up 5 total hits in his 2 weeks, and walked 1.
And Ryu this whole month is well on his way to Player of the Month. 1 run in 25 innings pitched, 25 Ks, only 1 walk.
Still just
May.
That 1 walk.
And that 1 walk was at Dodger Stadium, and that was the first one since August of last year. So people wondering about who the ace of the Dodgers is right now, it is Hyunjin Ryu. And he's honestly, over the last 2 calendar years, save for some ugly groin injury issues, he's probably the best pitcher. It would be a very, very good argument to say that Ryu is the best pitcher in baseball right now.
I would also argue that he is the most underrated pitcher in baseball right now, probably for the past 2 years, honestly. He is going to get one hell of a contract after this season. Oh, yeah. I can almost guarantee that.
That's one of the things I'm wondering.
I think he'll price out the Dodgers, honestly.
No, I think you have to. I think
you got to try. You got to try. But if we give Rich Hill back for another year, which really up in the air at this point, he's going to start getting expensive, that starting rotation.
We got another positive note coming from the stream this time. Our friend over on Twitch, Perez1619. How about a positive? Finished my finals, 1 semester closer to becoming an engineer. Way to go, Perez. Look at that. We're all family here. We care about each other.
That's good. College is hard. I did it. I sucked at it, but I did it.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. I drove by it one time.
I went to the school of hard knocks. I drove by it one time.
On my way to buy beer.
All right. We got Paul saying Ryu's a beast, 100%. Like Jonathan over here saying, echoing what you're saying. Ryu and Maeda on fire. Do we need any other pitcher? We need to have them. Yeah, I think we do need more pitchers just because of the whole, they can't start every game. But, yeah, the Maeda starts. 4 hits in his last 12 and 2/3 innings pitched, 18 strikeouts, 2 walks. He had a historic Wednesday night with 12 Ks and 2 runs driven in.
He did, and I don't want to take any credit away from him right now. But Straight Nasty 23 over on YouTube.
Great name.
I know, it's cool, huh? It just started I hope that's like his softball name, like on the back
Straight
of his jersey
Nasty.
or something like that. He started a hashtag extend Ryu, and I think that just needs to be blasted all across the internet. And I think there are thousands of fans and one Rick Krajewski that would very much agree with you on that. Shout out to Rick. We wish you were here. You don't love us.
Let's see, Perez. Yes, Ryu was a qualifying offer guy this year, and man, is that $17 million looking like a bargain.
Oh yeah.
However, back to Maeda, there is unfortunate news that now he's hitting the injured list with an apparent leg injury, and we do have breaking footage of the leg injury. Apparently, he fouled a ball off his thigh in his last AB. Last night, and that's what there was obviously a lot of Twitter concern, and everybody's like, why is he taking him out? Why is Dave Roberts doing this again? Why is he taking him out with only 85 pitches when he was
were
cruising?
Very upset about that.
I wasn't a fan. I think he earned it.
He did, for sure. I mean, he was at 80 something pitches. Did you see that stupid graphic that like a bunch of people started to put up about he's one of like only 8 pitchers to strike out 12 without a walk and under 90 pitches and not finish the 7th inning, or not get to the 7th inning or something, or not get to the 8th inning, whatever it was. It was a really stupid stat line. I was like,
things become things, and hopefully
I saw Giants fans retweeting it. That's fine.
Hopefully, the thigh injury is why it happened. I'm pretty sure he didn't need to go on the IL, but the Dodgers doing that Zaidi stuff, and we're gonna have some Zaidi stuff coming up later in the show, guys.
Zaidi,
but still coming up in the show, we have a lot to talk about on Kenley and the catchers. Zaidi, like I said,
it's just your favorite subject right now, isn't it?
Dodgers batting practice to the opponent. Apparently, that's what I'm kind of calling it. But more of the positives. Sticking on the positives here. Jock hit his 100th career home run somehow, despite himself. Hit his 100th career home run.
Despite himself. You would think he would have a pair of shoes for every home run, and I think that's what he's doing. I think that's the career arch that he's on to. Every time he, like Willie Mays Hayes, every time he steals a base, he hangs up his batting gloves or whatever.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing. He's buying a pair of Nikes.
He drops bombs for I don't know. Finish my rap. You let us know in the comments below.
Thanks for time.
1-800-77 cars for kids, something like that. I don't know. Somehow it is the 16th day in May of 2019, and Cody Bellinger is still batting over 400. That is, word tells me that it's impressive.
Still trying to think of a jock one, but something about kicks or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like anytime you hit over 400 at any point in your life, it doesn't matter if it's a 1-game span or a 20-game span. It doesn't matter. But, I mean, the kid, since Friday, I mean, would be about a week since our last podcast, would you say? Since we do them every Thursday?
Uh-huh.
That's a song. Yeah.
That was for you. That was a little bit for you. Got to get down on Friday.
She was too young for that.
I don't think so. She's dropped Rebecca Black references in here.
I believe that thoroughly. Since Friday, he's 8 for 18. So he's hitting like 440 plus some change. He only has 1 home run. 1 home run and 3 RBIs. What kind of weak sauce is that? He can't even. Okay. It's sarcasm, guys. Relax. In the month of May, he's hitting a very lowly 326 as a whole. But overall, he's hitting over 400. He's hitting 401, right? And he's got
we knew he wasn't going to hit 400 every month.
He's ridiculous.
I'll take a 326.
Yeah, his ridiculous 481 on base percentage and his outrageous 770 slug and his leading the league in average still, on base percentage still, slugging percentage still, OPS still, RBIs still, hits still. And
just tell us what he's not leading in.
He's just a couple behind in home runs now.
Yeah.
Yelich has really taken off in terms of power, not so much all-around game, I would say.
So, T, I know you got some of your highlights from the stream. Give us some of them sweet highlights.
Okay, so...
I love queso.
Yeah, I don't, but...
Hater.
Great topic. Okay, El Careza said...
Oh, Chris.
Well pronounced.
Chris, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Chris. Chris said, is Seager back or is this just a tease?
Ooh, good one. I think he's somewhere in the middle. I think he's mostly back.
He's on his way back.
What is he hitting, like 3 and something since his last something? I don't know. I don't have any Seager stats, but he's doing very well.
Did you just make up that stat right now?
Yes. I mean, I'm not wrong.
He is probably hitting something since his last something. I'll give you that. But he's definitely, I mean, to say he's back would be kind of he's got to be hitting like. I mean, he is. He's hitting like 2 something during the month of May.
I like your buying time to pull up the
I was like,
stats.
it's in front of me. He's hitting like 240 in May. I don't think you can really call it a comeback. I mean, over the past 3 games, he has a 3-game hitting streak going, and he has 5 hits over the past 3 games, so that's something.
David says Seager is about to be back. Bet. I'm down. I'll take that bet. He's in. Wait, we're on the right side, though.
He did go deep.
Yes, he did.
He did go deep. So, I mean,
Slam.
to me, that was encouraging
Because
before that,
Gary was very happy about that.
He was very happy. Didn't he call that too?
Yeah, he called it. He broke the internet that day with like 1 billion retweets.
And then he
700 million
texted me to see if I had heard the call. Did you see that I called it?
I know. That was his.
But yeah,
Mother's
his
Day
last
highlight.
home run was like middle of April. So, not necessarily that a home run means you're coming out of a slump, because we've seen a lot of really bad players hit home runs, guys. Don't forget that. But 5 hits over the past 3 games, a little bit more encouraging. I did like what I saw during the San Diego series and his at-bat quality. It looked a lot better. He wasn't swinging. It looked to me like he's been swinging over the top of a lot of balls lately, which is the same problem that the other guy who sucked. The other guy who sucked. Chris Taylor.
CT3, yeah.
Chris Taylor was doing this
Launch
very
angle's
similar
off.
thing where he was swinging over the top of the ball, and like his timing was on and everything about his mechanics was on, but he was just swinging over the top of the ball. That's the same problem I have when I golf. Always top it every time.
Keep your head down. It's all in the
I have
hips.
really short arms for my body length.
What else do you have? This is not golf tips. This is Blue Heaven.
It could be
Blue
golf.
golf tips.
I'm contractually obligated to meme whenever I say Blue Heaven.
Yeah. Okay, so Perez 1619 said, anyone notice Taylor and Jock increased their trade values? I want Dodgers Twitter to go nuts.
Trade value, man. He's trying to pick some fights right now. What's up with that, Chris? I don't think they increased their trade values. I think they increase their value to the team because they can't get rid of those guys.
I like that trade value.
That's.
I mean, like the first place team that's blowing everybody out of the water, and then you're talking about like trade bait for them. That's not generally how it goes.
Couple more here. So surprising Kershaw note, which I think you're the one who posted something about that today.
I wrote that article.
I'm proud of you.
I write. I can read too. But jack of all trades, fellas. I don't have a drink today though.
Would you like to explain what the stat is?
Yeah, I'm just upset about not. I had like 6 people comment on your cool copper cup.
All right.
Cool copper cup.
It's a celebrity copper cup. 14.
You can get them at Dodger Stadium if you buy a drink for $22.
The Dodgers have won each of Kershaw's last 14 starts. Kershaw has not won the starts.
To be clear, exactly. He did not earn 14 wins in those starts. That had to be pointed out several times by people all over the internet because I think people took it very much the wrong way. They have won his last 14 regular season starts, though, dating back to September of last year. Interestingly enough, he's actually not been very good in those starts. Which, I mean, if you're talking about Kershaw as of late, that's not.
We'll get in more
surprised,
Kershaw. We got some more Kershaw, human BP, a little bit later.
We do.
But Michael on the internet says, Brooke, you are my hero. I do not know why, but I'm cool with that.
Michael, can you please elaborate? Because no one really tells me that ever in my life.
And one
up
more.
To this point.
We got one more little quick one here. Happy birthday, Alex Verdugo. So Dodgers Stadium went and outdid itself, I feel, last night during the game, singing happy birthday to Alex Verdugo while he was out there in center field. How cool is that? I don't think I've never seen something like that happen.
I haven't. I feel like at this point, like this far into baseball and social media, you would see stuff like that. But no, let's.
Yeah, well, there it is.
There you go.
You hear?
Do you? There's an accent in. This guy on Facebook, Mike Hemme, said, "Is this a knitting show? So much talking. It's a talk show, dude. What are we supposed to be doing?
We're here every Thursday.
We're gonna brawl after this."
Yeah, that's on our other Twitch. This is a point in the show we want to remind you guys before we get into Kenley and the catchers, because I'm seeing that come up real soon. I'm seeing that come up a lot in Mr. Crush Guts over here on
Crush Guts.
That's what the YouTube name is, Mr. Crush Guts with a K and a Z. To
when
end
are we
going to
have Mr. Crush Guts on the show?
AJ, did someone complain there's too much talking on a podcast? Thank you, AJ, friend of the show. But we do got to remind you, go to DodgersNation.com/store and you can get some of these sweet swag that all of us are wearing today. you've seen it on the stream all night. If you guys are watching, we have a special live stream promotion running every time we do this. BH20. Use that BH Live 20.
Ooh, you almost forgot it.
20% off.
The 20 means 20% off.
Look at all those
as
swanky
you would
shirts,
expect.
though.
Aren't they beautiful?
They're delicious.
What do you think about the one that I'm wearing?
I think you increased its trade value.
I appreciate that.
All right, Kenley.
I took that as like people will buy it. Never mind. That's wrong.
Kenley.
You insulted me. I understand now.
So did you see the incident last night? And did you see the incident on Tuesday with Kenley? I'm gonna call it the.
This is my favorite storyline in baseball right now, by the way, because I grew up a catcher, and in my mind, this is how it started.
You
by
grew
the
up?
way. I grew up at one point.
Proud of you.
Or I aspire.
What up, Wayne?
I aspire to. There was the situation. What night was that? Tuesday night when it was caught on camera. Let's say it was literally a screen recording.
We
which
have
we
the
do
video.
Have.
Go ahead and plug that in
that.
while we're talking over it. But
He does appear to say some words in regards to Kenley shaking off pitches and deciding which pitches to throw.
An expansive English vocabulary. Just effing pitch.
Is that what you decided on?
That's what
what you decided
I
on?
slowed it down just to read.
Sure.
It's pitch.
So he always does have like a fat lip.
This is
dip
too.
going on too. So it's a little
dip.
hard to read that.
He's a dip guy, but
I saw like
Kenley-
25 different possible lip readings.
Kenley, if you're now, so that was on Tuesday where Barnes had enough of it, and we've seen this increase a lot over the last. Oh, I'd say definitely last 2 seasons. You know, Kenley's shaking off his catchers a lot. And we put out a great story about it today over on DodgersNation.com. We titled it. The Dodgers and Kenley Jansen.
I thought you were just saying we titled it. Good. That's good.
Appear divided over the pitch selection. That's what it comes down to. Kenley wants to throw his cutter that he's already throwing for like 85% of the time. He wants to throw it 175% of the time. He threw 26 pitches last night in a save, barely, and all 26 were cutters. When he came off the mound all cocky, popping his shirt on a middle cutter that Renfroe drilled a week before.
Right.
You don't get to do that because Kenley keeps going middle on this. When you upset our Lord Bulldog with your antics,
you've done something wrong. You've done something very wrong.
Bulldog is the most sweetest man in the history of the universe. The quote from Bulldog, I think Russell Martin, that's what he was tripping with last night, was, "You do not come after Russell Martin. How dare you?" I'm getting my Stephen A. voice right now.
That's good. I
ruined it a little bit there. But I think Russell Martin is calling the pitches that the scouting report calls for. And I think Kenley is saying, my ego is bigger than that pitch selection, which that's heat.
He's been having some like rough takes this year, guys. Some rough takes.
No, I mean, like in somewhat mostly the right way.
Somewhat.
He's been harder. Is what you're saying.
No, he definitely has not been like, I'm going to give the team answer.
Well,
or
he did
the
turn
coach
60
answer.
last year.
Yeah, that's what it was.
No, but I mean, Bulldog has been around. Thank you,
But
Armando.
like a good way. Like he's calling out people when they need to be called out, and I like it.
And that's what I was talking. So I actually was at the bar after our softball win last night. Hey, thank you.
Gary's waving at us over there with a thumbs up. That's cool.
But I couldn't, and in the bar, they apparently are, they're just like Redditing the game or whatever. So it was the San Diego broadcast, and I couldn't even hear the broadcast. But when that whole thing was going down, I was like, what is this BS? Like, why is he showing up his catcher like this? They're looking at each other, they're mad dogging. The body language is just uncomfortable. You don't do that on the baseball field. No. And to see that, Hershiser said is essentially the same sort of vein of thing that I was thinking. Of course, I can be a little bit more open and vocal in a bar about it. But Kenley, that's not cool what you're doing, especially to a veteran catcher who's been in the league since before you were born.
Especially since Kenley was a catcher.
And Kenley was a catcher. And that's where I'm wondering if there's a little bit of that with
I'm sure
Kenley.
there is, because he's had probably like 10 years of experience behind the plate himself. And he grew up catching. He made it professionally as a catcher, and then he was converted. That sucks. But it was interesting to see. And this is the type of thing that you expect from a team that's in last place, like 12 games into last place already. Not a team that's dominating and tearing up the league, which they are, guys. Don't ever
second
forget
best
that.
winning percentage going into today, 29 wins. They're a very good baseball team.
I will tell you right now, as somebody who has both pitched and catched, obviously I'm such an expert, and I've definitely pitched at the major league level, guys. I mean, you're supposed to listen to your catchers. That's your job. Mm-hmm. You trust your catcher, and he sees something you don't a lot of times, and he sees something different from your pitches, from the hitter's approach, from their body language, and across the field. He sees something different. You're supposed to trust him. And even if you don't handle it like he did. No. I think you have a conversation on the mound. That's fine. I get that.
You get close to each other.
Exactly.
You do the convo on the mound, but then we've noticed that a lot more out of Kenley over the last couple of years. The mound visits, like the mound visits as he's coming off the mound, like that's not cool. You don't body language your teammates like that.
No, it's rough to see, and I hope it gets cleared up soon. I'm sure they'll handle it internally because I think it is enough of an issue to where they're going to have to talk about it a little bit. And I'm sure Mr. Plunkett will have a few questions. Bill Plunkett, God bless that man. He is not afraid to ask Dave Roberts the questions that nobody else wants to really ask because they're uncomfortable. So we thank him for that. He's a bold man.
I think we've just gotten to an interesting point in our relationship with Kenley as a fan base with a player. Obviously, he's still a great closer, allegedly. He's a fine pitcher. He's the best to ever do it in a Dodger uniform in the history of the Dodgers. One of the best to ever do it by closing or by conversion percentage in the history of baseball. But the way I started looking at this, and I'm probably going to be a little off base with this, but I went hard on a monologue today in my head about it, just really relating our relationship to Kenley. It's just we're in a long-term relationship right now. And that's what we want back. Kenley used to do it all. He was the best. He'd bring us flowers. He'd make us feel like queens. And then he started making us feel insecure. He brought us to that party, and he said something rude at a party. He made us just feel uncomfortable. That was 2017 World Series. And then we spent 2018, working on some things and trying to get that spark back. But now it's 2019, and we moved in together because we hoped that would help, and we figured that would help the relationship. But all we do is sit in bed at night on our phones and argue about the dumb little things. I'm concerned about our future, Kenley. I'm telling you. Where's
the clap button?
My friends make fun of us. My friends make fun of us because you won't put a ring on it. I'm telling you. Make me feel beautiful again, California. I'm telling you, my friend. That's all I got to say on that matter.
Beautiful, man. I mean,
I'm gonna take a drink.
I love it, man. That's beautiful. It kind of touched my soul a little bit.
That's what I was going for. I don't know. I think Hillary's crying about it in the background. I'm sorry.
It's very beautiful.
I got at Hills on First.
I'm sure you guys have plenty of opinions on it, and you guys had a lot to say in the comments. Look, we want to hear from you guys. We want to know what in your expert opinions, obviously. What do you guys think about this situation? Was Kenley in the wrong? Was he right? Do you feel like he knows his pitchers better than Austin Barnes does, than Russell Martin does? Let us know in the comments, and we'll talk about it a little bit more later in the stream.
Mm-hmm. As of right now, we have to do a little segment. I'm going to call this New Face Who Dis. So you guys have seen it in the sidebar during this thing, anybody's watching this and not listening on the podcast side. But Dodgers Nation, we do have a brand new DN post-game host for you guys to argue with and get into fights with after the game, and he's going to do his best to talk you guys down off of the cliff when Dave Roberts does bad things. But you'll hear a lot of that. He couldn't be here tonight with us. We wanted to save him from the agony that would have been this show. But an introduction here to Doug McCain, our new DN post-game host. Hit it. This guy is Mr. Douglas, or Doug if you're nasty, McCain, and he is going to be the new face of our Dodgers Nation post-game show. So welcome here to Blue Heaven, Mr. McCain.
Thank you, Mr. Pasillas. No, this is a big deal. It's a really big deal for me. Happy to come in.
Big deal for us, man. It's going to be fun.
As the post-game guy, I think, my role is to be the man of the fans. I'm here to, feel the pulse of the fans, get their perspective, and really, we have the best fan base in all of baseball. Attendance reflects that. But really, I'm just going to come in, hold up the sky when the sky is falling, try to offer my own takes on the boys in blue. And it's really going to be a great year.
Yeah, you're about surviving one. Surviving is the most important thing because they're not all happy times. Obviously, we've seen, just every season. Every season you got up and downs. I'm not going to limit this section to any particular week that we happen to be in right now. But it always ends up being fun. That's the important thing. You're having fun. You're interacting with fans. You're talking about the game that just happened. You're going to have to talk people down off of Joe Kelly, off of Kenley Jansen, off of Dave Roberts. And we've seen this guy in action. Him and I have interacted enough. We know that he's the right man to survive. Just take it easy on him for a little bit, guys. It's a hard gig any way you cut it, but you're going to have some fun with it for sure. And we're back. We were not talking off camera. So that's Doug. Again, he's a cool guy. He's a Dodger fan. He loves his sports ball team that wears this blue color. So he's going to be joining you guys live probably about twice a week on all of our DN platforms. So be nice to him. Again, we're all Dodgers fans here. You know, we want the same thing. We want that ring, Kenley. Just saying.
Or don't. You can tear him apart, too.
Yeah.
I'm sure he won't.
It's not always as easy as we make it out to be. Me. But Doug will be here for you, the fans. And if you guys want more of the conversation, tomorrow we'll have it posted, I believe, on our YouTube, youtube.com/Dodgers Nation TV, and you get the full scoop on him because he gives us some hot takes on what he thinks about wearing white pants and heels to a game.
God.
Not him personally, just saying.
Body paint.
Yeah, body paint.
Body paint was a big one.
What he puts on his Dodger
Hot
dog.
dogs, yeah.
Don't sit on a hot dog. Apparently, is what
you shouldn't do that.
I thought that
Foam
goes
fingers.
without saying.
Huh?
Foam fingers.
Oh, foam
He had
fingers.
a lot of opinions on those.
Does he hate foam fingers?
So
Yeah, he does. No,
I do
I'm just
too.
joking.
I get that.
I mean, who really likes foam fingers? That is a dying
Wow, hot take of the day,
hot take.
guys.
This is my second hot
This
take.
one's going to drive the views.
Put that one straight up at the top. Matt Bishop on Facebook. Kenley needs to listen to his catcher always because you wanted to call to action here. We got it. Mr. Crush Guts back here. Kenley is pitching with his ego right now. It really does. And that's, we've talked about that time and time again about Kenley with his inability to accept, hey, I'm not right now. Have you ever heard him really say, hey, well, I guess he has. It's I suck right now, but every time it's but who cares? I don't care.
Right.
I'll figure it out.
It's definitely
maybe.
a bad attitude in the way I've seen it.
And that's what sucks, because Kershaw has the same thing.
Kershaw does, but
sometimes Kershaw's better.
He does occasionally, but Kershaw more often than not will be I'm gonna work on these things because these things need to be better, and it's not so much a screw the team. Whereas Kenley's is kind of just whatever, dude, get out of my face. I'm not talking to you. Why? I don't need to explain myself to you. I'm the closer. That's my job.
Exactly.
Okay, buddy.
So what was it? There was I saw Edwin over here. If he knew his pitches are better, then he shouldn't be going through this long slump. I'm assuming. Yeah, we're still talking about Kenley here. One of the quotes from Kenley, directly from Kenley. Oh wait, no, sorry. This was Dave Roberts' side of it. My bad. He can be stubborn at times. He can be convicted at times. We've got to work on things, or we got to work things out as far as what we're trying to do with Kenley and the catchers, and get them on the same page, which is 100% accurate.
We got a nice comment about our new boy Doug. David Zuniga over there on Facebook says, Doug seems like a dude you want to sit next to at games. Look forward to the post-game show.
That is one thing
That's
he did
awesome.
bring up, that I think he's going to buy us so many drinks.
He's going to buy us everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat everything there. It's going to be great.
That's my Sugar Daddy Doug. This is his new Twitter handle, Sugar Daddy Doug. It's not his actual Twitter handle, but we need to get that one. Can somebody get on that real quick?
That's good.
There.
Somebody quick.
I liked where is it? I like Raphael. Raphael's breaking him in real nice. He said he had to get it out of the system. He gave him a little bit of love, the type of stuff that he's going to see early on. The same type of thing that maybe Barnes would say to Kenley Jansen.
Very similar.
We'll beat around it. Stacy, has Kenley not seen Bull Durham? I don't think so. That doesn't strike me as a movie they would have shown.
It doesn't seem like a movie they would watch in Curacao. Is that where he's from?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think they watch that there. Not popular.
What else do we got? We got I don't even know how to say her name. We got Marare. I'm going to say
Mariah.
Maria. Is it Maria?
Mariah.
Is it Mariah?
Yeah.
Why is there an extra I in there? I'm
guy's name's
confused.
Bobby Applebee's.
Oh, Bobby Applebee's. I love your specials after 9 p.m. on game days.
Or
It's
dollar
great.
margarita night.
But they make the big trash can full of margarita mix.
Oh, yeah.
Gold.
It's like Gatorade.
Were you going with Mariah? Mariah. Thank you. Kenley is the pitcher. The catcher needs to listen. So we got the other side of it. So they want the catcher to listen to the pitcher, but it's not just the pitcher in this case. It's Mark Pryor. It's Rick
coaches.
Honeycutt.
Right.
It's the game planning coordinator, Chris Jimenez. It's all of these people that are putting this together. I'm just saying.
Martin Cortez says Kenley's acting like Rick Vaughn. He wants Parkman. Let him pitch. I like that.
That's good.
That's a really good Major League reference, Martin. I appreciate that. And if you guys don't know, we're big on Major League references on this show. So I think every time I've ever seen a home run hit, I've said it's too high every single time. And then I say the other part of it.
Okay, now it's time to move on a bit. We got the lightning round. We're going to try to have some fun with this. Do you want to present the lightning round, or you want me to do it? I could run through it if you're like...
I can try, and if I'm struggling, help me out.
Just read the bold parts. I mean, you know
For sure.
the feel.
I
you
can
know
read.
bold.
She can read much like. Wow, did you
My
guys go to
phone
the Did you guys go to the same school?
Yeah, I think we did. Okay.
IE kids?
Yes.
IE kids. Yeah,
IE
we
kids?
So, just by
Yeah,
the section.
are. Yeah. Okay. So first off, Dodgers batting practice.
So
Oh, this is your favorite.
Dodgers pitching has really struggled against their former teammates this year.
Yeah, and one of them's not even on a team anymore.
One. We miss you,
Too
Matt
soon.
Kemp,
Bless
but
up,
like
Matt
not
Kemp.
that much. Hey, so much more time for cupcakes. We know that.
Oh, boy.
Puig, Kemp, Grandal, Machado, Kendrick, Machado. Like, these are embarrassing. How many of those? What is it? 7? Well, Kershaw served up 7 home runs this year
By himself.
alone
By himself,
in
yeah.
39 2/3 innings. But what? 3 of those were off Kershaw, Puig, and both Machados. I think
Puig
it was.
and both Machados.
Puig, both Machados, and Kershaw right now is another one of those victims of the middle. He doesn't have that middle slider. Like a flat slider doesn't work when it's middle. You hate to see it. Do you have anything on Kershaw?
I got some Kershaw's home run pace if you want to look at that, because it's very depressing.
I was saying I had that in my notes. I was like, is he gonna give up like 45,
I had to
40
check.
home runs?
I had to check and see what his
year?
home run pace was. He's giving up roughly 1.6 home runs per 9 innings pitched.
Well, that's
Very
less
high.
Than,
It's doubled from last year.
That's less than Kenley's 1.8.
That's true. That's a good point. Unfortunately, he only pitches 1 inning a game. If he pitched the same amount of innings as he did last year, which entirely reasonable to think so, because he did sit out a pretty decent amount of time last year, he'd probably give up around 28 to 30 home runs.
Fewer
which
than
is
I
a
thought.
lot, but it is very much a career high. His career worst was 23 in 2017, which coincidentally was a very good year for him at the end of it all. So really weird Kershaw stats for you there, guys. I don't really know what to make of him.
Armando says Kershaw needs to work on a changeup. He's been working on that changeup.
He is.
Each of the last
Since 2009.
Yes, each of the last 10 spring trainings. It's like, oh yeah, he's working on that.
Yeah, he's working out a changeup.
When I heard Russell Martin say that this spring training, it's like, oh honey, you've been gone for a while, haven't you?
He was like, wait a minute, I remember in 2009 he was working on one.
Tina says lately it's give up home runs and grand slams. Unfortunately, that's the way it's looked, at least with our two, really the kind of the bulldogs of the last 10 years of Dodger pitching in baseball. Randy, even excellent pitchers can be hit, or excellent pitches can be hit by great hitters. No
That's
doubt,
true, but
no
they
doubt,
weren't great pitches.
Yeah, these are far
We
from
have
it.
Mariah back again. She says, how do you guys feel about booing a former player? I am against booing all players in general, except for Giants. Other than that, I don't really have a reason. Oh, and a couple guys on the Astros and Cubs in particular.
I do the boo clap to a former player.
Boom, boom, clap.
No, yes, buddy, or we'll make a big noise. Anyway,
Copyright.
copyright.
We've been shut down.
We got flagged. What else you got?
Definitely not Queen.
Yeah, definitely.
People are talking about. I don't know why somebody wants to know what Edwin Jackson is batting against us, but that doesn't.
Hey, he just set a record.
He did most major league teams.
15th major league team.
He's literally been on half the teams in Major League Baseball.
That's impressive. It's a 14. 14.
14, yeah.
Yeah, still breaking.
That's impressive, guys.
Breaking former Dodger legend Octavio Dotel's record of 13 teams.
Well, he was also a former Dodger. So
That's
that
what I said.
helps.
Former Dodger.
Formers. Two formers
I'm aware.
breaking records
I was
of
there.
formers.
I remember his
becoming
first
one.
start against Randy Johnson. It was great.
You
It was
remember that one?
glorious. Yeah.
I don't.
Kids these days.
Yeah,
What you
know
got?
how they are. Oh, favorite subject.
What?
Nothing.
Oh yeah, favorite subject.
I love the arms.
Yeah, trying to be serious. Moving on to Zaidi, man.
Farhan.
The delivery was
He,
excellent.
so there's this guy. There's this general manager in baseball. I believe his name is Farhan Zaidi.
I think he's ran by Farhan's laptop.
Yeah, never heard of her.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
So Farhan was kind of sort of in the news this last week, which unfortunately on a day where Kenta Maeda is heading to the injured list with an apparent injury, but we're here to cast judgment upon the former Dodgers GM.
This is all that's important.
Watch the cringe.
In Derek's comments, there was sort of an implicit assumption baked in that what he doesn't understand is what the front office is doing, not what Boch is doing.
Yeah.
I mean, there is an assumption there that there is not a cooperation at play. Which, did you want to address that?
Yeah, no, I was surprised by that, and again, I think sometimes there's a gap between perception and reality. Every move that we've made transactionally on the 25 man or otherwise, certainly talk to Boch about it, and when it made sense, kind of talk to the rest of the staff about it.
Have you ever seen someone so bad at lying or just so knee deep caught in their lie?
My favorite thing is the fact that he's trying to be a turtle and trying.
Yeah, that's what we were
so
talking about
hard
yesterday. Like,
to
or
get
whatever.
into his shell.
Like
he was one step away from just pulling his shirt up over his head and being like, "I'm not here if I can't see you."
He's like, I'm gonna dislocate my collarbone so I could just I'm gonna go away.
God, dude, that look.
You know,
like the Michael Scott discomfort that he brings to the show. That's just like you can't look away. You're like, I gotta watch. This is so uncomfortable. I have never felt more uncomfortable for another human than him in this line of questioning. Just being like, God, there's not a good answer for this. I gotta say something. I feel like
they're in my office. I'm in a corner.
I feel like he literally had nothing and was just like, I'm just gonna, sometimes I just talk and hope I find my way.
We had where did I see it at? Randy St. Farn was very fidgety in that interview.
Oh, I loved it so much.
And like you've never seen that. We've known Farhan for a while. He's very crisp. He moves well.
He's usually very confident.
Very
in his
calm
words.
and collected. Even the announcement that he would be leaving the team and going to San Francisco, he was good. But
Derek Holland really screwed this guy over, man. I love it.
That was great.
I love it.
Throw him under the bus because I think Holland knows he's a Dodger guy. Also, I love Holland Oates. That's why. I love Holland Oates.
Yeah, me
Just
too.
saying. So bad. Have you seen a worse liar than that one, T?
Yes.
I'm proud of you.
OJ.
Wow. Jay.
You're not even like
You're
old
alive.
enough for that.
No, I wasn't.
I think
Proud
it
of
was
you.
93 that it happened. Wasn't it?
But she saw the recent documentary on it. I'm assuming fake documentary
I saw
retelling.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
The Cuba Gooding Jr. version?
It was really good.
So Cuba Gooding Jr. is a really bad liar.
You see him, you murderer.
No, that was Radio. That's a different movie. It's different.
Yeah, he didn't do it. He's a good guy. What else? I know. I had this one nicely teed up for myself.
Yep.
This is for you.
Okay.
This is for me.
Yeah.
But you can get in.
No, I don't want it.
Okay.
We're ready? Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go.
Rich Hill was terrible at the start of last season. Give him time.
So I looked in some of the numbers on this. Do you remember how bad he was last year, right?
I remember how bad he was like a lot of the time.
When he was constantly going through blister problems. We had Rich Fix on the show way back in the early days of Blue Heaven, trying to get him some like rodeo cream or whatever. Basically, they were trying to put Vaseline on his hands. Of course, Richie starts game 1 in Cincy on Friday, which is tomorrow. Sits at 0-1 on the season with a very, very, very crisp, dank even, if you will, 4.20 ERA. But his FIP is sitting at 6.57 in 2019 is the year as we say it. For those who don't understand FIP, I'll just tell you that's bad. That's very, very bad, if you will.
Is it?
The legend goes. So through mid-June of last year, 2018, he was 2-4 with a 2.64 ERA in those 10 starts. And like I said, he missed plenty of time thanks to those blisters. But afterwards, he went 9-1 with a 2.99 ERA in 13 starts. Plus, he posted an ERA just over 2 in 16 postseason innings. So some of the things we got to think about Richie Hill is 1, he's 39. 2, he's got a bad knee. This much we know. But he can still come back and put it together, and I really do think he will.
I love that man, dude. I think he's one of the most enjoyable people in baseball to watch, to root for. He's the guy that you want to win, and you want him to succeed and do well.
Baseball grandpa?
Yes, for so many different reasons. There's first and foremost, watching him on the base paths is the funniest and most entertaining thing in baseball today. I don't care what you say. Take your grand slams, take your long balls and your home runs and dingers and dongs.
I want to see his strut on a grand slam.
Absolutely. Take all that. I would rather watch this guy at the plate every day, day after day. I've told you this before. I've bought tickets to a game because I knew that Rich Hill was pitching, just because I wanted to see him hit. I don't care about him pitching, honestly. I just wanted to see him hit. But when he's good, man.
Yeah, he's exceptional.
And I feel like for him in particular, more often than not, it gets overlooked when he's pitching very well. And when he's not pitching great, it's very much under a microscope. And I think that for how old he is. It's tough. I mean, you could probably preach to this a little bit more.
Wow.
The more you age, the more difficult things get, right?
You just call me old?
Yes.
You have to speak up. Sonny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Things hurt. Existence hurt.
Parts fall off.
I have to take a couple ibuprofen before a softball game these days. And it's softball. And I play on the bench like half the time on my team.
No, you don't.
Well, not last night. But that's why we were winners. I'm just saying. So we got a couple in here about him. Charles, I believe in Dick Mountain. He will come around. Smart man right there in front of the show.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, guys.
Randy,
I would put my trust in him, honestly.
Randy Shipley, I love Rich Hill in 1,000 ways. If I can meet one Dodger, it'd be Richie Baby, even more than Muncie, and that's a lot of love because Randy is a huge Muncie stan, as the kids say.
Muncie Stan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Stan Muncie. Hill had a huge Game 3 versus the Cubs in 2016. Mm-hmm. That's Mr. Stephen Meyerson over there on Facebook.
And
pointed
these are
out
notes.
to us.
As we quickly speed up, let's go ahead and bypass that one. Let's get straight into that Blue Heaven tweet of the week. I don't know if you saw this one, but I know you saw this one. Everybody's favorite Dodger, Andre Ether.
It feels good. It's not too cold.
This is a beautiful jersey. They went with the express eBay from China shipping on that, I believe. That is a rough jersey.
Very much worth the cost of rushing it out, guys.
The number is right though, but that is good because we're always Ether fans. But I think this kid Andre Ether has a much higher ceiling, career arc.
Yeah.
Ceiling.
My favorite part was the thread that came along with that because it's very much entertaining, guys. High quality entertainment. We got love that dude. Him and Matt Kepham. James Lonely was my favorite personally. What about Russell Farton? looks better than my Chris Tyler jersey. Don't forget Mike Pizza. Eric Carrots was a franchise cornerstone for many years. Fernando Venezuela. It just goes on and on, guys. It's really high quality. I really appreciated that. And I don't think he's getting his money back for that jersey, honestly.
No, I would not. That is a treasure. That is an absolute treasure. You want that jersey, right? 100%.
He's my favorite player. I love Ether.
Either or.
Either or. I'll take it either way.
That's good.
All right, so we got some more. And obviously, everybody's still here in the stream. You guys are lit. So AJ Wanaribe was Uribe. Wanaribe was better. We got Uribe over there.
You guys are quick with these guys. I gotta say, I'm not as clever as you.
Perez 1619 over on Twitch saying FRG on the bench. Are the Matt Stairs of your softball team? No, because Stairs would run into one every once in a while.
Oh, he would run into one, man.
I love how every time. This is the part where you guys start to tune out, I'm assuming. But every time this guy decides to video, like me, when he's on my softball team, it's like the worst swing I take that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that on purpose.
Yeah. I hit handle on a wooden softball bat, which you never do because we were crushing like one of the remedial teams. It was a good
looked
time.
It looked like you hit it hard, though. And
no.
You didn't.
No.
You didn't.
You should have sped that up.
It looked like you did.
I
can't speed it up that much. Apparently, the Blazers up 71-70. I don't know if they won. That's just Randy Shipley letting us know.
It's very important.
I think Randy's from up north, isn't he?
Yeah, Oregon. I believe it's Oregon. So I want to ask you something here because this has been another one of the things I think Dodgers Nation has been a little concerned about. But Justin Turner and the shaky D. JT and the shaky D. You having fun there? You having an issue?
I'm okay.
Is it age? Does he need more days off? Or is it the Chris Woodward effect for you?
Okay, here's the thing, guys. No one ever listens to me. I'm always right. I'm always right eventually. So
half the time he's right every time.
Last year, it was just last year. This was on Steve Mason's podcast back when he used to talk about the Dodgers in a reasonable context and level-headedness. And he wasn't very hung up on LeBron and the Lakers. On that podcast, we were talking about JT was just about to come back from his broken wrist. He was just about to return during the Miami series. I had said, I feel like he's getting a little bit old. We need to start looking at options to replace him. We need to start looking at moving him around. He is going to be a guy that's going to probably not finish his career at third base, but you never know. Adrian Beltre did it admirably. His defense definitely fell off at the end of his career. He was older, and that's what happens. Your knees start to hurt. Your arm goes. It is a very long throw, especially for somebody in their mid to late 30s. But you've definitely seen that glove decline over the past couple of years. The good news is his bat has pretty much stayed consistent since in his time as in a Dodgers uniform.
And
it's
in May.
pretty consistent. But he was a very good glove like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, he was
very
exceptional.
good glove, exceptional. But
That was the reason he was going to be like the Uribe replacement because it was such a good.
It just
glove.
made
Not
sense.
Uribe, somebody else. I think it was Nick Punto or somebody. Anyway,
Shredder
Punto.
Shredder Punto. That glove has definitely declined. He's definitely not the same range that he had. I mean, he didn't have to hug that line, and he could be on a ball to his right, no problem. Now, if he doesn't hug the line, it's probably past him on a hard hit ball, and that's just a lot different for him. And also, those short hops are starting to eat him up a little bit more. The throws are getting a little more wild. I do think it's age for him in particular. And we talked about it a little bit with Muncy. You know, when you have Muncy in on defense, you kind of can take what you get with him because having the bat in the lineup is important. JT times 2. You know, the importance of his really comes from his bat, not so much his glove. So as long as he can make the easy plays, get a couple of those hard plays in there, I'm all right with it. And we'll see where he goes for the rest of the year. And I mean, we don't have that much long for JT, guys. Like, he's not going to be around forever.
I would like to see him get an extra day off or two, you know, a week or a series, whatever. Not a series, but
take a series off.
Yeah. I mean, plus with the amount he's getting hit by pitches, that can help. As Steven brings up,
he does get hit by a lot of pitches.
He's get hit by a pitch 9 times a week.
9 times.
That I believe that is 100%.
I think it's 8 days a week. I love you. That's like a Beatles song.
Oh, I need you. Anyway, Joel says, great show, guys. Thank you, Joel. We appreciate you over there on YouTube. And I love Janae's over on Facebook. This is great because it says, can we stop?
Oh, stop
can
getting
we
hit
stop
by
getting
pitches.
hit?
Okay, I
that was great.
thought she just meant
that.
us. I was like, hey, Janae, we can stop if you want.
That was tweet. So this is the last thing I want to end with. This is what's grinding my gears this week, and we've talked about it. We've laughed about it beforehand, looking at the Dodgers schedule, looking at the the giveaway schedule for the the stadium this year. How bad is it? I feel bad here because we almost made it an entire show without talking about Joe Kelly, but somebody had also recently posted it. Ho Kelly, my bad. I was supposed to say that for you. You're all good, Janae. I got an LOL, my bad. But how is it that Joe Kelly can get a bobblehead before Pedro Baez? That is sacrilegious, I believe is the word. Like, somebody had posted the tweet recently. We don't have it loaded, but
who's Pedro Baez?
The ace of the bullpen.
It does seem a little strange. It's a little strange.
Wasn't it you who said that what's it called? I think it was on Monday or something like that that he had to have had it contractually obligated.
Dude, it had to be in his contract. It had to be in his contract. They couldn't have just decided. I mean, how did they make those decisions? It couldn't be off of his performance because otherwise he would have the opposite of a bobblehead.
You beat us in the World Series last year. You get a bobblehead.
No head. It has no head.
Oh, it's one of those F-U bobbleheads.
I appreciate that. Good looking out. For Petey to not have a bobblehead by now. He played catch with a kid in the stands the other day. I think he heard that's how you get a bobblehead is by interacting with fans, and so he's like, now I have to talk to people.
Last year, Joe Kelly Fight Club got suspended, watched the baseball game all around Fenway Park with fans, tweeted all over, Reddit all over that. He's, you're right. Pedro's on his way on like now.
He's on the Joe Kelly
now
arc.
that he's like right there. He went from villain to like, okay, we're cool with him. Now he's making that next career arc from superhero. I believe that's what it is.
To be honest with you, this sounds terrible because I should know him better than this. I'm not sure that he speaks English because I've never heard him speak.
Muy poquito.
Okay, that's good. But I mean, Kenta
Baez Cape giveaway.
Muy poquito, Ryu muy poquito.
What do you think about that Baez Cape giveaway? Is he a superhero?
I like it.
Make it happen. Who can we talk to?
On the back?
Sujo.
Well, you obviously make the decisions on the promo giveaways. Please make it happen because there's going to be a lot of people upset when Mr. Baez doesn't get his dues and Joe Kelly gets a bobblehead.
Anyways, guys, that's about... Well, it's not all the time we have, but it's all the time we're going to take today. Find us on the internet machine at DodgersNation.com, the newly revamped and glorious DodgersNation.com. We thank you so much for hanging out with us. Subscribe to Blue Heaven. This is also a podcast. iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM, so many more. Somewhere they could find us personally.
You can find us two beautiful, handsome, smart-looking elderly men or whatever we are. I just wanted to fit in. I'm sorry. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram. I am at BrookMe3. This guy over here is at RealFRG. You can find us at Official Dodgers Nation. Huge thank you to our crack production team in-house. You can also find us on Instagram as Official Dodgers Nation or at Dodgers Nation on Twitter. We had to change it up a little bit because, those Instagram.
Funsies. For funsies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you to our production team in-house. Thank you guys all for interacting with us in the comments section, making sure that we have plenty of laughs, plenty of conversations, and topics to go over. Mm-hmm. Thank you for being a friend. As the Golden Girls would say.
Steven says this show is high quality H2O. Thank you, Steven. You can go ahead and leave that in an iTunes comment. That's gold. I'm going to put that on my LinkedIn.
I like that a lot.
We know Jess was listening to us in her earbuds, by the way. So, Jess, we hopefully you enjoyed your class tonight.
Thank you,
but
Jess.
we will see you next Thursday.
Bye.